Are you familiar with Cody Sanchez?
I am, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of
So
a
she's been buying up a
billionaire.
lot. I mean, I think when she first got started, it was mostly like laundromats and some other things, but more recently, she's been buying up some home services businesses and stuff. I've been watching her for a little while, and it's interesting to see that like almost completely passive laundromat to this very hyperactive. There's a lot of management layers that happen in a home service company.
Yeah,
Marketing has to happen, phones have to get answered, emails have to be responded to, schedules have to be like, there's a lot of communication loops. Whereas a laundromat's like one dude can service a laundromat, you know?
if that. I mean, you don't really
If
need
not, it's
someone.
probably part time, right? It's probably like a few hours a week to like fill the vending machines, take the quarters, deposit them in the bank, and you're done, right? It's really easy. Maintenance every here and there. So like the labor component end of that versus that, I thought it was an interesting transition, and I think it shows the future potential for people like you to get in that. If really big investors are coming in with private equity money like her, because she manages a lot of companies, right?
Yeah.
So you see someone like her into this space, you're like, that makes you think, you know. But I do think like for me, not only is it about the holding because I 100% agree with that, but I think more than anything it's these home services trades, and it's primarily because they're one man shops, right? And one man shops can't do a lot. There is a like it's a laughing stock of lack of professionalism.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everything from lack of systems to uh crazy personalities, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know you've talked to a lot of painters, but like there's some very negative and angry individuals that are like, blame the world on the lack of success, and just like it's just the myriad of things. And I think what I appreciate from what you do is coming in with like a professional stack of operating systems, if you will. Like you're basically just professionalizing the business. You know
That's
what I
what it
mean?
is. Yeah.
That's
It's
really what it is. I mean, like there's all sorts of other buzzwords, but you're basically saying, here's marketing, let's make it consistent and professionalized. Here's this customer service, here's this HR, these other systems. We have, KPIs and processes and checklists and sheets and training, and we're just going to professionalize. We're going to be like any other professionalized company. We're just going to do it with paintbrushes, you
right.
know?
It's one of the last industries, home services in general, one of the last industries in the economy that is still super unprofessional, not
I agree.
consolidated. And that's why it's ripe for outside investment to come in, professionalize, consolidate. And, when we think about like uh, the curve in terms of product or service adoption, we're definitely in the early adoption phase of sort of this movement of outside money and private equity involvement in home services. I think specifically in painting, maybe less so in HVAC, plumbing, roofing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
And
early adopters,
roofing and remodeling too seems to have a little bit more uptick.
yeah, and the reason to why, like, for example, HVAC and electric, there's a ton of involvement there, landscaping to a more limited extent, is because those business models can be built around recurring
MRR.
maintenance work,
MRR. Yeah.
right? You can sign maintenance agreements with people that you can go into next year already with $1 million, $2 million in business there, and you build that as a foundation. Whereas the painting industry, it is, you by and large project to project in terms of you need to constantly have that marketing machine and sales machine, going to create that long term value. Now, once you have it there, it can get close to being on an autopilot, but still needs work and effort in there. But I do think, and we've already started to see a little bit, again, with how big the industry is, it's just a matter of time until the dominoes start falling here. And again, the early adopters are going to be the biggest winners in this. There will certainly be winners later, down the road, but it's an exciting opportunity, certainly for guys that have built something for themselves that want to be able to maximize what they've built to an even bigger level than they could have done on their own.
Yeah, and for context and to tie back into some of your early stories, I don't know if you know this about me, but I used to be a painter a long time ago too. And I grew up in a painter household. I'm just a little bit older than you.
But
So I did this in like the late 80s and 90s. And so like I saw the trades at where a lot of the guys that are, like, in those the 40s and 50s now, like, they started painting, like, when I did, and they
Yeah.
are still painting, and they learned in that era. So I did it and then stepped away from it and then came back to it on the marketing side because I was in the military for a while. So, like, I was in painting and then not in painting and then back in it, right? On a When I came back, I was on a different side of it. And so it was interesting though, is like I grew up in this kind of free for all, paying people under the table, people showing up drunk and high, everyone showing up late,
Yeah.
customers always got the short end of the stick. It was Russian roulette as a customer trying to find a contractor that wouldn't screw you over. You never knew what you were going to get. Schedules would change all the time. It was just the wild, wild west, man. It was absurd, you
Yeah.
know, the kind of things that people would do and thought they were okay. And so I think that to your notion, like, we're starting to see more private equity. And yes, that pursuit, but the professionalism bit in there. What's interesting is one of the things that I tend to see, and I see it at least a handful of times a week, and I have for years, is someone will come to me in this like 1 to 3 man shop and they'll be like, man, I've been doing this for X amount of years, insert some number greater than five,
Uh-huh.
right? 10, 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And this whole time it's all been word of mouth. And now I can't get anyone to do anything. And I just don't know what to do. Right. And the sad reality is like just marketing alone isn't even going to fix it.
No.
Because you get there, there's so many mindset problems and operating system problems. Like, we've had clients, we've had to put a whole bunch of filters here because of this. So we've taken clients like that in years past, and then you implement a winning marketing playbook, and then they don't answer the phone and then blame you on marketing.
Okay.
Or they answer the phone to set appointment, and they email proposals 3 days after when they told the client they'd get it to them, and instead of having a presentation in-house, and they don't wanna learn how to hire people, and they treat their employees like shit, and they argue with customers on site, and it's like, "Dude, marketing ain't fixing that."
No.
You know what I mean?
Why it's
And
one piece to the overall puzzle of
yeah.
business.
Yeah, and so that's what I like about business systems. For me, that was a big thing that I learned from that book, Traction. I read it, like, coming out of the Air Force and stuff like that, like, quite a while ago, and, and a couple other similar books where it's like, it's not there are multiple gears in this machine that we call business. It's not just one lever. Yeah, marketing is normally the first lever we push on,
Mhm.
right? You have to spend money to get leads. You have to get leads to have appointments. You have to have appointments at sales. You have to have sales to put a painter in the house. Yes, but there's like it's normally like multiple of these systems have to kind of improve at once, you know, and that becomes hard for someone that's stuck in their ways from 10, 15, 20 years ago. It's
Yeah.
really hard. You're asking them to change a lot of deep, patterns of behavior.
Yeah. Whereas like most of the companies, I mean, the four that we have right now, um, have all started within the last 10 years, right? They're not sort of 20
Not
years.
quite that old. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So they've built something and have had started to have some success, and are pushing in the right direction, but sort of maybe stuck at a certain level and need help breaking through. But they want to break through. And that's the
Yeah.
big thing. Whereas like you were saying, if you're dealing with somebody that's been doing it for 20, 30, 35 years, it's gonna be very difficult to teach that old dog the new tricks. Uh
Mhm.
and just a reality of the situation, which is why, we're so, particular about who is the person that is going to be running the show. And that's honestly like the best deals, I believe, have the best people with, a good foundation to build off of. But I would much rather have a superstar person with a so-so business than an awesome business on paper, but with, a crap leader at the top. And that's sort of
I couldn't agree more.
a
Agree more.
reality that sort of learn as you go through it. Our first deal that we did, company Supreme Painters in Boston, was run by two guys, a Brazilian guy and a Honduran. Sort of ran the business together since 2012. Have had success doing it, doing a couple $1 million a year. a year ago, which coming up on 2 years now, it was early 2024. The Brazilian guy sold part of his business to the Honduran guy and sort of transferred a lot of the business and day-to-day responsibilities there. So the numbers on paper looked fantastic looking back because it was mainly the Brazilian who pushed things forward and had the good business. But there were just a litany of issues with the sort of new leadership running things that caused a lot of issues for us. And we had to fire the guy running it and buy his part of the business back. A whole bunch of issues in terms of pushback on systems we were trying to implement from like every single software we tried to put in place to streamline our tech stack. Didn't like it, didn't want to do it, was insistent on paying guys under the table, was insistent on doing things the way that he wanted to do things. In fact, there was an issue with, some theft there as well. But the business looked awesome
That's the girl.
on paper, right? It was a slam dunk on paper, fantastic. Everything was there. Uh, just the leadership wasn't aligned, and we've transitioned that business into a good spot now with better leadership. But it was definitely one of those things and mistakes that you make and that you learn from, and realize, okay, we need to focus on people first. Numbers have to be there, but really numbers second, people first.
Yeah, I agree. And we didn't talk about that in business leadership. We kind of talked about that with employees a minute ago,
Yeah.
right? An employee that's got a great mindset and aligns with values and all the other things is just a decent human being that doesn't have a certain knowledge set. Dude, we'll teach them the knowledge. And I'd rather have that than someone that knows a lot and is just not a good human,
Yeah.
you know? And I think that applies at every level, including, potentially investors and any partners that you have, but also like the owners of the companies that you hold, like everything down the line. Like you just want to have great humans involved. Hey, if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you're looking for help growing your contracting business, I invite you to join my free community. In there, we go live with amazing trainings, share resources and downloads, plus you get free help from me and from peers. That link is down below to join, and we'll see you in the next video.